I have to figure out how to spell whatever their name is. I'll try to like. Should we just call them Trev? Because I don't know how to pronounce the
I would go with Trev.
BX sound. Okay, Digitrevx.
As opposed to Digitrevx.
There he is.
Okay, we'll go with Trev. Trev seems reasonable. We'll do that.
There
we go.
There we
Hey.
are.
Let me just try to mute the stream here. Okay, there we go. Right. Hey, what's up, guys?
What's
Hi.
up? Today is like I am cold to this until a little bit earlier this morning. There are a few people who probably know a little bit more about me who would ask you questions about this kind of thing. But
Yeah, no problem.
What is your reaction to all the people being so pissed off? What is that?
I mean, I don't know if you guys can still hear me, by the way. My thing isn't lighting up.
We can hear you.
I'm sorry?
You're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, coming from, I don't know, like an internet pop culture anime fan and VR chat like type of like background, I guess like to me it's just hilarious how people are responding. But yeah, we just well, I mean, there is Melody does have like obviously a manager. I kind of handle more technical stuff and like kind of like art direction for like her overall look and everything. But the vision was always basically, hey, look, there's an open for this, like this open market. People already like this sort of stuff. We just have to make it a reality, and that's kind of what we ended up doing, basically. And this is like only the beginning, obviously, because like there's still some things that have to be figured out technically and everything that we're actually working on. But yeah, I just think it's funny, kind of, and interesting.
Especially with what you said a minute ago, where they're now all asking to be made digital as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was a travesty, and now they all want the same thing.
Yeah. In fact, one of the cam girls that was screenshotted that people are kind of posting around like virally. I can't remember what her name was, but she actually DM'd me on Twitter asking how she can get into this, and I'm like, you were just blasting Melody a second ago. What the hell's happening?
She has seen the light.
Yeah.
That's what it is. She is.
Lord Jesus.
I think if a lot of people might be a little bit mad that, oh, why didn't I think of this? Which is, you know, that's part of taking the risk that you took. Like you said, you invested a lot of time and capital into this. Yeah.
No, there's like, it's a serious investment, and that's why I kind of get a little annoyed at the cam girls. There's a couple of their points, right? Some are like, and I understand their point of view. They say, well, we risk our identity because we're getting on this site, and I understand that. I just didn't know that was now like a qualification to be a cam model. Basically, is you have to do this. Like that's a thing that you have to do, and I just don't think that that's a requirement. The other thing is while they're risking their identity, they're not risking like piles of cash. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we ended up having to do. I mean, it's just a lot of money to make tech run. So
you had to risk things too, because there is one particular chick. She does talk about how you have managed to avoid certain stigma by
that's what I was talking about.
She has to go through.
I'm familiar with that. What it was? What was it again? Like, I guess, what did she say? There's so much stuff being said out there.
I'm sure you're getting spammed with things.
You can't justify.
Basically, the girls that do this, they do get a certain reputation, branded a dirty whore, and they seem to think that it's unfair that you don't have to risk that. But like you said, they don't have to risk the capital that you've had to put in.
Yeah.
Thing.
I can. I'm not really. This isn't really a spin. On like the whole thing, but just me personally. This is the first time I've actually publicly decided to do something like this and get involved in this because I come from a background that doesn't get involved in this. Like we're talking like VTubers and other projects like mascots and things like that. And now I'm basically saying, okay, I'm now kind of put at least one foot into the porn industry, basically, right, or something like that. So, it's just to me, I feel like I am exposing myself, and I'm not even Melody.
So as a creator, you kind of have taken a risk in transitioning fields into this cam girl work.
Yeah, because it can affect my own image for future business and stuff like that, like outside of Melody stuff, because I kind of I have my own company that's unrelated to this sort of stuff, and then there's Melody, and so like I have to keep them kind of separate for obvious reasons because companies don't want to get involved with certain types of industries. So from a business perspective, I'm taking my own risks, and I don't think a lot of these other girls like actually understand any of that.
Well, I don't think any of these girls are actual business owners. So
I don't think they're thinking about it in the way that he is either, because they're thinking about, they go out somewhere and someone looks at them and says, "Oh, I recognize you. You're that girl off."
Oh, yeah, business is their body.
That's what they're thinking about. What he's talking about is his name is now out there associated with this, or his, this is something that he's now associated with, and people know that, and whenever they go to him for a different project, he is going to be known as the one that does the porn girl.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it affects your life either way when you think about it, because I mean we're talking like your livelihood. So it's sort of similar in some ways.
It's different kinds of like she's using the brand Scarlet Letter. It's different kinds of Scarlet Letters, but at the same time, you're still getting a brand on site. I didn't think about that earlier either. That somebody who does this, they're pretty much, this is what their work is now. This is what people are going to come to talk to you about. This is what people are going to bother you to make. This is the thing.
Pretty much.
So, that's very similar.
The other I want to address, I guess, another small point. I don't know if this was talked about. They're talking about their setup time and their own investments. Like we're talking like their soft boxes and their cameras and whatever, and the Christmas lights hanging on the wall,
and
makeup.
The Christmas lights on the wall, is that a thing now? That's like a prerequisite you gotta have to do this.
Hey.
Yeah, a lot of them have that.
Killing me.
So So yeah, I think it's funny, and I know that they're not going to understand and stuff, but to prep Melody for a stream is like launching the space shuttle, and so like I find it ironic that they're talking about having to do makeup, and they think that that's hard. So
how much of that are you allowed to like? Kind of like, you don't have to say like all the like ins and outs and how to do it.
It's
but
really
how
hard.
much is the setup? Like, how long does it take?
It's really hard to explain it without actually talking about the tech, and I hope that we can like talk about it more as things go on. I'll just say there's a lot of hardware and there's a lot of software.
A lot of hardware and a lot of software.
And there's a lot of like software inception too. Like there's software talking to other software, and there's like there's multiple computers chained together type of thing.
It's all right. I will try to keep this as vague as fuck. All right.
Yeah.
are there gimmicks that the person has to put on?
Like VR.
Makes it the person.
Live.
Like the person portraying like it. I'm
I
under
don't-
the assumption that it's like some sort of motion capture kind of thing.
I don't really want to get into that, but I will say if you like look at what VTubers are doing,
Yeah.
like let's say let's use Kizuna AI as an example. I mean she's fairly out there at this point.
Mhm.
It would be if you look into that in some aspects, it's similar.
Okay.
In other aspects, it's hella not. Like it's way more advanced in other aspects.
Right.
And that's basically where I can. But I will say this though, it is actually 100% live, for sure. Because I mean, if you get some of these other, I've gotten lots of messages about other, I guess influencers, like virtual influencers and stuff. Like let's say like Little Michaela, for example.
Mhm.
None of that, and at least from my perspective, having doing this for many years, and when I see her stuff, I don't see a technology that she can do any live interaction. It's usually like mocapped, then doctored animation because they have to like fix the clipping and issues, and then they render it, like they pre-render it basically. You can't do this sort of thing with this sort of type of entertainment, I guess. So there is a difference there. So because I know a lot of people are like, "Is this an animation? Is this a recording? Is this what is this exactly?" Yeah, it's 100% live for sure.
So
I mean,
you would put the preparation of makeup and Christmas lights
Mhm.
against the preparation for this any day. Yeah, it's
oh yeah,
there is still like I'm at least envisioning you have to get a person ready somehow, and you have to get, like you said, more than one computer ready. So
yeah,
there are
for sure.
many things going on around this, whatever's going on, to
Yeah.
where it's at least as much as makeup and some
Yeah.
Christmas lights.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff. I mean, uh, I mean, since the project is just starting, obviously, and it has blown up a lot. I would still consider it indie, but there are elements of it that are definitely like professional grade stuff. And when you get into that sort of level equipment, it gets really expensive.
Yeah, I imagine the hardware requirement easily up to 50K
Oh,
worth
yeah,
of hardware.
it's it's very expensive stuff.
Is it a thing that is breaking even or close to breaking even, or is
I don't
this a thing you
actually
guys
have
kind of
data
go?
on any of that. Even if I mean, I couldn't even respond on it if I had the data.
Yeah,
Is what
good.
I'm
All
saying.
right, yeah, that.
Yeah.
But it's doing okay.
I mean,
Like you were
that
saying,
way.
from what you were saying
Uh,
before, it feels like it's doing okay though, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not too much in the hole with all of the technology. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be with most companies. There's always going to be startup costs.
Yeah.
And you're always going to just you know you're going to spend a lot of money for capital up front, and that's just the way it is, especially with tech businesses. And you have to have a roadmap to recuperate those costs, and then start actually going to the I guess you can call it positive. There's a lot of questions about that and stuff, and the way that things were. I don't want to get too much into the financial stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But this project has actually never been in the negative. So let me just put it out like that.
Good deal.
So yeah. So, um, but I mean, obviously, money had to be spent. So I mean, the idea is to uh, rebuild that, and then of course reinvest because you want to expand on the project and stuff.
You didn't just wake up one morning and constantly get in front of a camera.
Oh no.
There was years of work that
That's what.
preceded
That's
this.
what I was. All right. How long are you allowed to say? How long?
Um, the problem is answering that question is I can only tell you about my involvement because uh, it- the thing is, like I said, I'm not the only person. There's not many, but I'm not the only person. But I handle
Yeah.
mainly like tech and, like I said, like the character development and overall like art design, director like stuff, I guess. But development has actually been a very short time. Like only God. Well, I guess if you count the months of waiting that because the thing is like going back to the whole risk thing, I was asked a long time ago to do this, and I kind of sat around and I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I should do this. You know, I mean, I don't know.
You weren't in it at
And
first. You were kind of not thinking
yeah,
it was for you.
Some months went by.
Based on everything that you said, it sounds like a risky venture because, like you mentioned before, you've kind of risked your brand name, Digitrevx. Is that
Because I mean,
right?
you just it's Digitrev, and the X is actually supposed to be like a gamepad on the side. But hey, what can you do with text and stuff? So but yeah, just Digi or Trev or whatever, whatever. But yeah, I mean, because I basically before this was doing VTubers and stuff pretty often. So with pretty big ones too. So just building their characters and stuff and getting them set off on the right foot, I guess, so they can go and build themselves up. But yeah, I mean, this is a very different thing. So I kind of sat around for a long time thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't think it matters too much. I guess I can probably handle this. So then I decided to do it. But the actual development time, while it was grueling, when you're talking like 7 days a week, all day for like probably 3 months, got her mostly put together. Just my part again. So there was stuff before that, but I wasn't involved at that point.
Still, and
That's a large time investment.
it is a large time. But was this giant stream? Was that the first stream that you guys had done?
Which one?
I don't know what day it was, but the stream where everybody's having this big fit, where everybody's just all the freak out happened.
Not sure if it was the first one or the second one. I mean, for sure, by the second one, people were pretty, tilted, I guess. Well, some people.
Multiple shows by now.
Do you know what is the highest viewership that you've had?
That platform, I think it hit like 21,000 or 20,000 in some, hundreds. I don't know, something like that.
Oh yeah, they're gonna notice.
The big draw.
They're gonna notice. And
yeah, but that's fine. And honestly, I mean, to be honest, from a social media perspective, them being angry kind of like helps.
It did
in some ways.
I wouldn't have known about. I would have never heard about this had so many people not been angry about it. So it's put it out there to a lot more people. Made it much more of a thing getting talked about. Is like for real. I wouldn't have even known this was a thing if not for all the people freaking out about it. And then someone sees that and they talk about that and then they mention that to me and then they post something at me about it and they're like, okay, well, I guess this is a thing. And before
I didn't know about it either, surprisingly.
Yeah. Oh, that's understandable. It's just something that's very memeable, and I happen to also have, I guess, a little bit of a community draw from the users over there on VR chat, if you know that platform, and a lot of them are memesters and they love anime and they're all like, I guess, whatever.
Is that where this came from?
Right.
The smooth brain. Is that where this a lot of the community and this is it for the most part coming from the VR chat thing?
I don't think most of it. I think it's a little bit of everywhere. It's kind of like just the internet. It's a little bit VR chat. It's a little just I'm not really sure like where the poll's coming from. I'm not sure if there's where we can find data right now. to support where most of it comes from, but I do know that people from VR chat are pretty versed in like 3D anime, like and stuff like that. In fact, a lot of times we get asked or accused of this running out of VR chat, and that's like a huge mistake if we ever did that. I mean, who in their right mind would invest all of this and build this up and then get on VR chat, which it's hugely against their TOS. And I happen to know a lot of the devs from VR chat, and it would just immediately get, Thanos snapped out of existence just because of that. So we would never do that.
So that's an accusation people have jumped at you with to try to get things shut down, is saying that you're running out of VR chat.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was
no way. It is. People still do it. It's kind of one of those things like what happens in VR chat stays in VR chat. So people just, as long as you don't talk about it, it's also about public. Weird things happen in there. So
weird things happen in there.
I mean, Second Life was the same way. It's like you don't talk about it.
Yeah, basically.
Don't talk about it. Don't say anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a cool
I don't know
platform,
much about VR chat, but I don't know. Someone said there was a stripping community in VR chat. Am I right? Or an exotic
dancer? That's what someone from the chat was saying earlier.
An exotic dancing community.
That rabbit hole goes deeper though. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh.
The further down the rabbit hole, the weirder it gets.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's no good.
But yeah.
I don't. This thing. There's. I don't know. There's probably a few more things, but one that sticks out. All right. So on the social media platform, do you have someone who is portraying as Melody, or is it Projekt Melody that talks to people?
Melody talks on that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just her eyes are literally spinning out of her head trying to like keep track of all that stuff.
What I was gonna ask is, has Melody had any of the other people from Chatterbait talking shit to Melody? Has that happened?
Like actually one-on-one communicating?
Yeah. Has Melody got added with any Twitter hate?
I'm gonna go look.
I mean, she's aware of it and she sees it, and people definitely share stuff with her. I mean, I'm often talking to her, so I share things every now and then. Oftentimes we're just laughing because it's just so hilarious and stupid. It's so easy to basically it's like here we are, like we're on like an understanding where we base our ideas and our thoughts and our positions off of like logic, and then here you have these other girls that are just like their minds are melting to the point where they just can't make a coherent argument at this point. I mean, I get some of it, but most of it's just like,
well, it's like some of them have raised some decent points, and then others are like, you're attracting children.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a lot of arguments being thrown out there.
Yeah. The attracting children, though, I don't know. I mean, the thing is like, even VR chat like has an age limit to even like get on that thing. But I don't know. The goal was never, if it is attracting children, the goal was never to do that. It was always for like people over 18.
It's kind of a thing that ends up happening incidentally.
The entire site is for people over 18.
Exactly. And there would never be content like outside of that isn't like designed for it. You know what I mean? Like we'd never stick that type of content somewhere else, like on YouTube or whatever, And she does actually have like a YouTube channel, and it's like, it's like etchy-ish, but it's not like what's happening on that other platform.
It's YouTube safe.
It's YouTube safe, yeah. I mean, that would be stupid. Why upload that stuff and have it taken down?
Well, yeah, that would not be wise, but okay, so there's a Melody YouTube channel, What's on the Melody YouTube channel?
I mean, it's brand new, pretty much.
Okay.
It's existed for maybe 2 weeks or something. I do not manage it, by the way, so I don't have a lot of information on it. But it's just another place for the public to kind of like bring awareness and discoverability to like the character. And so she's gonna, as far as I'm aware, the interest is she'd like to get into like maybe doing content on there that isn't the same stuff as on like CB. It would be, I don't know, like edgy games. I don't know. Like we'll would have to figure it out and stuff
I was
to
about to ask, are you gonna start doing
exactly.
pranks with the Melody character? Have like a prank show?
Prank show? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. This is
That's
Yeah.
all the rage.
toy reviews. Wait, probably
Wait.
not the best. Yeah,
Wait.
probably can't do that.
Yeah, and I just want to like kind of put out like this sort of disclaimer type of like thing. It's just that again, I focus more on art and the tech and all that stuff that makes it like work and all that, like what makes her her. But like in terms of business decisions, these are not necessarily my like, my thing. Well, I do know a lot about some stuff. So what she does with her YouTube channel basically is not up to me.
It's, like you said, it was let's put together by pretty much a team, right? Like it's not a
there's
big
no-
team, but it's a
Yeah.
couple of
Well,
people.
yeah.
But
I
then
mean, we're
stuff.
talking like Melody, obviously, and then she has like basically a manager to like read stuff and take care of like opportunity stuff, and then there's like me doing some tech stuff. And again, it's small right now because, well, I mean, why would you? It's such a big risk, right? Why would you go and get a bunch of people in some massive team, and then you're like, well, sorry guys, didn't work out. Like halfway through the month or something. So yeah, it's small.
Right, there's a resident. He's a weeb. It's fine.
Resident Weeb.
Yeah, he wants to know why neon hair. So I will ask the
Oh,
question:
neon
why
hair?
neon hair?
When it glows. I assume that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's
Does it
asking.
glow?
He was
That or the
asking about
colors,
us
the
need to tell her
purple
about
and the
hers.
blue, I guess.
Okay, so I'll try to cover it all. It's a lot to unpack, but so Melody did come to me with some general guidelines for how she wanted to kind of like her body to look, and so those were basically I need purple hair, I want it to fade to blue tips, or I want to have a fade to it, and I want to have my cute little band-aid. And I'm like, okay, cool. The rest of it was like, you design it. And she kind of told me that she liked, some stuff from Ghost in the Shell, blah blah, Cyberpunk, etc. So we kind of went with that. And um, the glowing tips of the hair was kind of more of, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it only happens during some parts of her stream, I guess, but it's really just kind of like an afterthought.
I was gonna say, she going Super
because
Saiyan?
Yeah.
As certain things go through,
yeah,
it's,
That's
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
creative.
yeah.
that's all right. That's a way to go.
It was just me kind of like I was explaining something to her at one point, a technical thing, and I was using her hair as an example to kind of show aesthetically what I was talking about. And then she's like, "Oh, I like that," and it happened to be her hair. Like it happened to be those little those little spikes, I guess. And then it just kind of stayed after that.
Well,
Yeah. So some things just happen, just happy accidents. Some things are deliberate, some things are happy accidents. So
that's that's a hell of a happy accident. I can go with that. That's decent. I mean, if you're gonna do the anime girl thing, you need to do the anime girl thing.
I wanted
pretty
to get
much.
something in as the other resident weeb here. I just want to say,
dear.
I wish you success with all of this. You and your whole team. I hope this gets better. I mean, this is the future, brother. You gotta get
What the fuck, Alex?
Other weeb.
you gotta perfect the 3D anime girl, the 3D anime girl porn industry. That's the future. You gotta do more with this. When you're a billionaire in the future, and your teams are all billionaires, that's all on you. You're doing the world justice. It's
Doing the Lord's work.
It's all great. You're doing God's work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. God looks at you as one of his children. You are truly doing the world.
Glad,
Doing the world a
I'm glad
favor.
that way instead of like a mistake or something. Like, damn it, this is what I put you on the earth to do. What are you doing?
No, you're doing Jesus' work right now.
Jesus' work. Wow.
Alex has never been so happy.
I'm glad.
Awesome.
I'm super glad.
I
All right.
think that Alex is his biggest fan now.
All right, our other co-host she's made it here. This is Blossom. Blossom, we are talking to the person who made the anime cam girl.
Oh,
Hey.
how are you?
I mean, yeah, I know. They filled me in the Discord.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Have you talked to
Okay.
Pete about any of this? I know that he is big on the anime cam girl. So,
No, I haven't.
oh, you should have.
She knows. She does.
There's much education to this to be had.
Okay.
It's apparently he had I don't know, about 300-400 hate tweets that were sent.
Why?
Or-
Why?
The other cam girls are not happy.
How come? Is he doing it better than they are? That's the only reason that I can think of.
That may be the
might
case,
be it.
Blossom.
Huh,
That might be
interesting.
the case, yeah. They're not happy. And then they're also hitting them up like, hey, can you make us digital too?
Are you? Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
This sounds very normal, very familiar. But
Not really happy, but for some reason they want to be on board.
Yeah,
It's kind of interesting.
it's awful. It's attracting children. Also, can you do it for us?
Essentially.
It's just a little dirty.
We don't necessarily mind if other people do it. I mean, we expect it. I mean, heck, let's look at Kizuna, for example. Like, she need what is there, like 6,000 plus VTubers at this point? Oh, sorry, my phone.
That's okay. People with lives, they get phone calls and shit.
Yeah, we expect. Well, we don't expect, okay, but there's reasonable expectation, I guess, that if it's popular, there will be more. So
There will be people trying to replicate this success. It's gonna
yeah, the difference is like I mentioned before, when we were talking about tech and we were talking about how some parts of it relate to VTubers. The one problem is I mean, coming from that whole industry as like a modeler and stuff, that tech is oftentimes not shared with the West. So I see it as something that will be harder for people in the West to actually get on right now. Whereas in Japan, it's a lot more known. So when I have people asking me, like hitting me up for models and wanting to get into it, I'm like, okay, look, I'm one person. This project is already a lot, and I hope you can find something, but you might have to learn Japanese. So
You may have to learn another
it's-
language.
yeah, it's kind of hard actually. I won't lie. You have to pull together people that are smart. You have to get the tech. Then there's the money requirement. Then the talent has to be good. Yeah, you just have to pull together a couple things.
Yeah, you
So-
can't really pull it off with any kind of half-assers in there. It's just not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna fly.
Where do you
The
Where do you see this technology heading? Do you see this
Is it
going
heading?
into like virtual reality type scenarios where you have one-on-one type
Possibly.
stuff?
Maybe.
The problem with virtual reality right now, again, coming from VR chat perspectives here, is the cost of the gear is really high still, and even if you can afford the gear, you have to have. When I mean gear, I mean the actual VR gear. We're talking about VR, I assume, right? Like virtual reality, like wearing a headset on your face, I assume.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
That stuff
play
is really
games,
expensive.
VR games at the
Right. So then you have to have the machine. So you're talking like a machine that's really, really strong. So we're talking like $2,000 plus. So it's kind of like a big investment just to get into VR. There is things like what is it, the Oculus Quest. So it's like the one that has the embedded little computer in the headset. Those are really weak. For example, Melody's entire CG environment would not run on that. So it's not strong enough, and it's still $400. To everyone's hand, it's pretty hard.
I've heard you need a hella computer to run any kind of decent VR. And the VR, all the VR equipment itself costs, like $1,000 or $800 or something.
Yeah, so you're right about $500 to $1,000. Yeah, if you're going Index or Vive or whatever you're, and then yeah, like I said, $2,000+ computer.
Yeah, well, the gear isn't cheap, but there are people out there that absolutely build those systems capable of playing VR games and that sort of stuff.
Well, then you also need the space.
The technology is constantly being developed as far as VR.
The price of entry, like I said, that puts a bit of exclusivity to it, and then the know-how, I think, will put another level of exclusivity to this for at least a while.
I think right now we're a little bit off from that sort of thing. I think what we're going to see more of is virtual influencers and entertainers, which kind of gets into my other company. We do basically virtual musicians essentially, but we're still building out. So we're talking like virtual like hip hop artists and stuff like that. And the idea is that you'd work your way up into doing holographic concerts, and that's more realistic, I think, than actually trying to do VR shows and everything. For example, like Hatsune Miku is going to do what, Coachella this year.
Yeah. I was going to
so
say
this is the type
like
of stuff.
Miku.
Exactly.
Is that where the big payoff is in this kind of stuff? The big concerts?
It is if you can get sponsorships and deals with bigger festivals. That's where the money is made. When you go on tour with festivals, they will pay massive amounts of money. So,
nice.
However, being a virtual character comes with pitfalls, right? You have to have a lot of technology with you and people. So you have to have computers and equipment and whatever you end up going with, screens, projectors, blah blah. Musicians.
There's a lot of things that have to be set up in order to do this kind of thing, both physically and just the manpower that probably. I don't know how. I don't want to get too much into it, and I don't want you to say anything you're not allowed to say. But like, how many people does it take to kind of make one of these things work in a concert scenario? Not what you're doing now, but a concert scenario. How many people would it take to make that kind of thing flow?
Honestly, I would have to guess, because I don't have inside information to what Krypton, like what it takes. I know they're leveraging Sega for their animation and stuff like that. So we're talking like a video game studio at that point, which is fairly notorious. And then, I mean, you just look at their crew, and their crew looks to be like 25 people going when you go on tour. Then they have their musicians because they have live musicians. So it looks like a pretty big operation. I've heard, and
border on a 50-man team.
Yeah, I would say at least. Probably, yeah, around there, or maybe more if you count like marketing people and other stuff like that.
Go ahead. What were we saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. I'm actually not sure what I was gonna say.
Oh.
I kind of lost my train of thought. Actually.
It's okay.
It happens.
I was saying it was something about Sega. They had to bring in their musicians, and it was something about that. But when you start breaking down how many people have to come in for all this kind of stuff, I don't know. It starts to get kind of just the grand scope of all the things that it takes to make one of those live holographic concerts work. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I remember what I was gonna say. I heard like it was, I guess you can consider it gossip, so I wouldn't take it to heart, but I heard something like at least their past tours for the Miku concerts were basically breaking even. They weren't really actually, they were more or less doing it for the fans.
Mm.
And exposure, and then they would make that back off of merchandise or something like that. It's usually never with business. It's usually never just that upfront and cut and dry. You know, it's usually like we're doing this big investment, we're gonna lose on to get us sales somewhere else. You know,
generate interest and generate sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something that will keep other things going.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of work and stuff. But yeah, I see that more as being more realistic than trying to pass out headsets, you know, at a concert or something like that, you know, to 1,800 plus people.
Yeah,
that's a wild ass concept to me. Like the thing that we can, have holographic concerts. We're the thing where, again, this is. I mean, well, don't disclose it to what I say. I'm just saying there might be a real person behind it and everything, but we essentially have a cam girl that is not a cam girl. It's something that is computer generated. We have performers that are not computer. This is. Alice was screaming about the future earlier, and it's like this is the kind of stuff that's starting to make it feel like the future, and just I just don't understand it.
Cam girls are the future.
Soon,
anime cam girls.
Anime cam girls may be the future.
I will say,
you too will be a fat slob like me and never leave your house because you won't have to.
That's disgusting, Alex. We have guests. Oh my god.
Don't worry. I'll say the kind of stepping a little bit back to the music thing. One of the goals is because it's important, because we want to also set ourselves apart from anything Miku is doing. Obviously, it's pretty widely known that Miku concerts are pretty much pre-rendered video that you're watching on a screen. It's basically a projector, right? People call it a hologram, which isn't actually what it is. But so one of our goals is actually to make it live, and you can see this kind of tech through Melody. So basically, yeah, it would be a musician, however we handle the tech, whether it's a person hooked to it or whatever and stuff like that. And then
you would be ahead.
I'm sorry?
You would be ahead of the biggest stuff, is what you're saying, where you would be able to do it live. They essentially push play.
You can do it live. You can do it. There's so much. There's so much you can do. You can do so much live that people don't even realize. For example, you can do crazy things with shaders that are live. Shaders are kind of like this magic code that is how things are rendered on the video card and stuff, and it gets into pretty crazy tech stuff. But with shaders, you can change a lot of things on the fly that people don't actually realize. The other cool things is you can actually interface things like equipment actually in the front of house. So let's say a light desk, where it's operating the lights for the show, right? You can basically route that data into the engine that's running the rendering for the character, and you can actually light up the character in real time to actually go with the lights and stuff. So there's a lot of crazy Inception stuff that you can do that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about, and I think that's just one aspect that will set us apart.
So between the live thing and then what you're saying that you would be able to do with shaders and different things that would interact with a live model, you're if this gets to a point where you're doing concerts, things of the like, you would be pretty far ahead. Not just a little ahead, but you'd be pretty far ahead of what they're doing now with
the goal. Yeah, I mean, because we're obviously not ignorant to like other virtual influencers. Like we're always watching. Like I mentioned, Little Michaela, and a lot of other like little like bottom feeders that are coming up, kind of like riding on her, coattail, I guess, or what they call it. You got Keys in the AI and stuff, and a lot of these other weirder ones like the KFC dude and stuff, and yeah,
I did
we're
not
always
know
watching
this was
that
such a thing. Like so many of these. What is the KFC dude?
stuff. Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yum.
apparently remade him to be some sexy anime
Yeah, they gave him a
guy,
dating sim.
and it's like, yeah, or something.
Oh dear.
He's like in his 20s or something,
Who
and he's like
asked for this?
reviewable.
Weebs.
Hey, internet
hate.
did.
The internet did.
What is it?
God.
Rule 47?
So bad. That's
I'm just gonna,
the
I think
KFC
I'll post
dude.
this.
What are you posting? What's happening? Oh, I see. Oh dear.
You know how you were
Alright.
talking about
It's a game called I Love You, Colonel Sanders.
live concerts and stuff. I was wondering whether things would go in the other direction to a more personal setting where you'd have 3D anime escort type services where, say, you'd get a 5-hour conversation one-on-one, for 50 grand or whatever. I'm sure there are people out there that would pay that.
Yeah.
So do you see this
I thought you
as
were gonna mention
moving?
Gatebox, but yeah.
You see this as moving into other personal industries as opposed to just,
Look into VR chat and make a friend and get that for free. But yeah. But yeah, I could see maybe someone making a business out of it for sure. People that are, I mean, heck, there was, she ended up quitting actually, but I worked on a VTuber in China that was for self-help. Like that was her role basically, was to get on and talk about like that sort of thing and help people. She ended up quitting for whatever reason, personal reasons, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I could see someone making something out of that.
When was the screenshot of this Twitter taken? The Projekt Melody one that's on the screen that we have.
Before they hit 40K followers.
Okay, yeah, because I was just gonna say that I went to check out their Twitter and they have way more than that.
Days ago,
That was-
maybe?
Yeah, it says
40K Twitter followers. Like Jesus. Okay.
40.3K followers. Yeah.
You think it's blowing up a little bit?
The internet's helping, that's for sure. The cam girls are helping too. So
They really are.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I say I wouldn't have even known about this if not for all of that. So
yeah,
they're not
outrage.
doing what they think they're doing. It's not working right.
I mean,
if they weren't so vocally outraged, we would have no idea what you were doing on Chatterbait.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. But I look at the context of what they're saying, and I get where they're at in their mind, and I can see why they're so vocal because they're just losing their mind. Their minds are melting.
Like I get where they're coming from, but then a bunch of them have turned around and like, hey, can I get a model too?
Legit, I have like dozens of inbox things on my Twitter that people are asking for stuff, including some of the ones that were mad. Basically, I'm like, okay, well, I don't respond in any negative way to these people too. By the way, like I just say I literally can't handle it. Like I can't handle another project. Is what I mean. But I wish them the best of luck, and maybe they can
Thank you for being
find someone out
interested
there.
with what I do, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
I do not
essentially,
have the time.
legit. The answer, there's
Project
no,
Melody is a full-time job for you, right?
Yeah, and like also no. I mean, I think I'm working like more than 2 full-time jobs, basically trying to like do my other company stuff and this sort of thing. And read all the messages. Like it's a lot. So
I'm
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I'm
sitting
amazed
here
that
actually
somebody was doing
working
this
on
in
talking to you
someone's
guys. By the way.
working while you're talking. I feel that. Hold on. It says, "I love your work. You guys are doing. Keep going. It's logical evolution and vitals V streamers, and I find it quite entertaining." And that's someone named Guardian World. I don't know who they are, but apparently they are a very big fan.
Thank you.
When
Very
I
much.
looked
I
up
appreciate it.
the Twitter, like this one actually did pop up as well on over on Twitter. Very positive. So they're a fan. Big
I
fan.
imagine there are a lot of people who are big fans. If it's at 40K followers already, I imagine there are lots and lots of big fans right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And but the hate is like villainize them. They basically villainize themselves, and it
They
kind of
kinda
makes
did.
Melody look even more like a little puppy in the corner. So I don't know, but she is very nice. So I'm just
So only nice things are being said from the Melody account. Mean things are being said about the Melody account. So yeah, this is only going to go bad. For it's going to lead to things like this, where
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like when we started the show, I had a lot of reservations about stuff like this, and then most of them were calmed down by, well, they're only letting you guys do it right now. They're trying it out. Just a bunch of things got talked about. And it was, all right, well, this is more or less fine. I still see why some of the girls are frustrated, but this is fine. And holy shit.
Sorry.
But it's
No
fine.
problem.
It's fine. At least you didn't throw anything at him and knock him off the bike. It's okay.
I'm thinking about it because that's the second or third time they've driven
But after having it, kind of chilling out about it, talking about it, and you like it's not. I think we've shown like 4 or 5 of the angry comments about it. There's a lot more than that. We just grabbed 4 or 5, but it's gonna go again. It's gonna do something that they're not aiming for it to do. It's going to violently backlash.
Usually, that's how
back
that
into their
works.
face. It's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
Hating on something that's not doing anything. It's just gonna make people want to. 1, they're gonna want to keep making them salty, and 2, they're gonna keep having fun with the thing that's making them salty. So they're not doing this right.
I try to reassure them, even though they're angry as hell, that Melody's audience is probably not theirs to begin with. So it might
That's
not
also
be
accurate.
hurting them as
Yeah,
much
there's
as
that.
what they think.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that if they think it is and they want to be part of it, is as soon as Melody is more established and things even out, like where it's we have a handle on this, like I mean right now it's like riding a bull, right? It's like just crazy. But as soon as things even out, there is Melody says that there's interest in maybe designing or building out like an agency or something, and then others can be part of it, or something.
Is
Making
that kind of a goal?
Company or a franchise out of it.
Having a bit of a stable of virtual.
It might be. It's not like VTubers haven't already done this. I mean, over there in that world, there's big companies like HoloLive and whatever Etnum and 8 something. That's Kizanos basically, and they have 50 VTubers underneath them. So
they're running an e-brothel.
All right, I'm running an e-brothel. You're terrible. All right, hold on. I asked for questions a bit ago, and unless I missed some, there were two that stood out. I'm gonna grab these. One of them super short, but definitely worth asking from Clint Eastwood. Are you going to license the technology, or is that even getting talked about at all?
You can't license all of it because it's kind of, how do I put this?
Don't put it in any way that'll get you in trouble. You can't license some of it. It's just fine. You don't have to say anything more. Don't get in trouble. I don't want to take away anybody's anime girls right now.
Let me use this.
They will
as an
riot.
example. This is fine if I say this. Imagine you bought a camera, like a Canon DSLR or something like that, right?
Mhm.
And let's say you also bought a tripod, right? And your technology basically changes the entire camera game just by the way it's mounted to that tripod. And so you can't license the camera because it's another company's product.
Okay.
So there's
parts
building
of it is
blocks
done
that
by
are
other.
Yes.
Parts of it's done by other companies' products, so therefore you couldn't. Okay.
Yeah, there's some companies like technology involved, and then some of it's ours. And this is pretty normal for this type of stuff. You don't often build everything out yourself. It'd be crazy, honestly.
Like you mentioned before, you're using a lot of professional software and massive amounts of hardware, which you probably purchased a commercial license.
All right,
It's
here's
expensive.
one. Here's one from Go Trice and Shrimp. A bit of a longer one, but still, I think the question is kind of short. It said the idea of having an avatar seems to provide both anonymity and, in my opinion, a better sense of idealization. Do you think virtual idols will stay niche or actually cross over into the mainstream?
Oh man, I don't know. I would have to say we have to look to other examples that have been out there for a bit longer. So like I said, look at Miku and Kizuna AI. They're not in the same industry, obviously, but some people still consider them pretty niche still, even though they have massive followers and are making massive money. I mean, if you compare it to Facebook money, not massive, but in terms of like other industries and what other people have done, pretty good money. So I think Facebook makes like 30 million a month or something like that, or something ridiculous, and yeah.
Okay.
But whereas like I think Keys in the AI, I think her agency spent 6 million on their 50 VTubers in 3 months or 2 months or something. So a lot of cash is flowing in general.
I believe that.
But I know for a fact because of my contacts that they're still making over 750,000 in profit.
That's
while spending that type of money. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent on that one, but yeah, it could be a thing. But I think we have a little ways to go before it's anything mainstream.
Fair enough. The I don't know, the idea of the virtual like idols and stuff, like it seems very foreign to me. It seems like it's not something that would ever take off, but I don't know. I may be very behind on things for real. It's something that may just be past what I can grasp and what seems like a thing to me. Because like I had to slow my roll a minute ago and be like, well, they did do the Tupac concerts with hologram.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have to get myself to where it's no, this is shit that happens now, and kind of get with it. So
especially when you look at some cultures, Japan and China, where virtual interactions has become the majority of interactions.
Is that? There's stuff like that, but I don't know. They have a lot of concerts like this over there. Like I've seen where in Japan they straight up have anime girls doing concerts and stuff, and it's like, all right, well that's a thing that fucking exists, and you have to roll with it. You have to be like, okay, that happened. I'm looking at that happening, and it's kind of, I don't know. I don't see it as something that could catch on, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't catch on.
It depends on a lot of things. I like Miku, for example. They should have done better than they did so far. The fact that a lot of people can tell it's a recording, like a pre-rendered video, I think turns off a lot of people. People are like, "Wait, what are we doing? We're here to see a movie, basically, with
Kind of.
music."
Yeah.
And
But
I think
watching it on
that
music-
that kind of kills the magic for people.
Well,
So if you can make it more live, precisely. So if you can make it more live, it's a lot more engaging. And I think that's also one of the reasons why people actually watch Melody streams. They're just intrigued. They're just like, okay, I kind of like the personality. She's just got a cute voice and just kind of quirky and stuff. And it's actually kind of cool that this is happening real time, and this is just weird. So
like interacting with an anime girl.
Yeah.
It's
and it's in a way that you can't do with any other versions of like anime girls right now. Even like the other, like, okay, so when a VTuber goes live, right? There's some interaction, not much, but it's not like the type of thing where, like, for example, like we're talking like the tipping stuff, and all that. So it is a little more involvement with her viewers.
That's got to be a draw. Like that's got to be a huge draw in the thing.
By the way, the tipping does affect her. Like that's not faked.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that. That was one of the things.
She's not faking the power up. Zone trans.
No.
That's goddamn. The I'm glad we cleared up that mystery. That was
Yeah, right.
we wouldn't want any ambiguity on that. I don't. That's such a crazy thing. That I mean, I'm talking to somebody about tipping on the internet, having a interaction on an anime girl. It's
You mean a cartoon? Everyone loves to call it a cartoon for some reason. I think that's the most triggering thing to me. Actually, of all
that's
this.
what gets you is that it's
a
called
cartoon.
a cartoon.
Are you serious? Like, come on.
It got referred to as lolly earlier.
I don't even understand how what, like, come on. I'm like an anime expert. Like how is that lolly?
Okay, I'm the opposite of an anime expert. I didn't call it that. It wasn't me to call it because I don't know what that is.
She doesn't even sound lolly. Like, I don't understand.
But
I
think I did say, all right, it's my thing with all anime stuff. They all look young. They all look kind of young. It's just anime girls not really my thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm
staying out of this.
Hold on. Akujin, were you the one that said it was lolly?
I was.
Are you that one? Okay, so you know what that is?
He doesn't understand what lolly is.
Okay, he doesn't understand. All right, fine. Throw my hands up. I don't know. Like everybody was talking about like 90 terms I didn't understand earlier, and I'm like, oh god, this is brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the non-weeb dealing with weebs arguing with other non-weebs.
I think that she looks possibly younger than 18.
That
but
was my opinion as well, which
that's not lolly though.
Insulted you with the lolly term.
Wait, you didn't insult me. I don't even know what that
you.
means.
I was talking to
Okay.
Trev.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I don't know. I kind of think that it's 18 to me. I guess everyone, it's an
interpretation gimmick.
Exactly.
There are plenty of models who are like 25 who look way younger than 25.
I mean, technically, you can say here she's 2 months old because that's about when she started to get modeled.
See, that's what I was talking about before. That we could end up in a very strange area if the Chatterbait models. What if they all unionized together and said, okay, well that model is not 18 years old. It's 2 months old, and they try to get a rule passed to where a model has to sit in the box for 18 years
Mm-hmm.
before you.
That'd be a really scuffed model by the time you sell it.
That's what I'm just saying. This is weird shit that I don't know how this is gonna go.
Could you imagine? I mean, I don't know what would we be looking at right now, like
Tomb
Atari
Raider.
stuff at this point. Yeah,
No, I think we would be
mean,
allowed Tomb Raider. Well, a little
Tomb
past
Raider?
Tomb Raider, like
Well,
stuff from
Tomb Raider
2002 would be
old
allowed.
now.
2002 would be allowed. So, what did the graphics look like in 2002? Can anybody
Please,
pull up
can
a
we not?
2002 lady?
Can we not?
She doesn't have to be nude, but can somebody pull up a 2002 video game graphic of a lady just to
Dude.
see where we were at and what we would be allowed to look at right now if this were the rule?
Dude,
What
Tomb
is-
Raider's from like 1996, man. She looked awful.
I can't believe you're burying Laura Croft like this, man.
I'm absolutely burying her.
I'm just gonna post this
She's a
rendering
nice
of
girl.
Blood Rain.
Rendering a
Wouldn't,
blood rain.
Okay.
Wouldn't
well, that saves me.
Melody be like? Melody would have to be like at least 18 plus, because you'd have to be 18 plus to make an account
she's
and
designed-
perform on
she's
there, right?
whatever age she's
Okay.
said to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody that says that she's underage is just full of shit.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
The
But
problem
again,
is don't think that we have gone through the proper verification process. They just don't believe it. 'Cause,
was that
you
a
know,
thing? Are they going at
Yeah,
you
of
about
course.
the verification process?
Well, you have to go
Okay.
through the verification process to even make a creator's account, right?
Okay.
It's just that that's never
Or streamer
publicly
account.
available information. It's just because they can't see someone to verify with their eyes that they're upset.
Yeah, but like Tonka was saying, there are some 25-year-olds that look under 18.
All right, there's that, but there's also the thing they're able to kind of go to whoever's chat and look at them and get them to, throw their ID up or whatever if there's ever any questions. I don't know how this shit would work nowadays. Honestly, I don't know. It's all very strange to me, especially with the added layer of it's a live anime girl.
Yeah.
That changes a lot of things, guys.
Yeah. Because like what they're trying to accuse us of, I guess in their mind is, even if you go through the verification process and like legally, like you should, that we're somehow replacing the person that went through that process with I don't know, someone else, I guess, like some child or something. I don't know. And
What do they
like-
expect? This animation to go through the process?
I don't know what they expect, but
How would you even do that?
You can't
It's
put
impossible.
But it's just-
expectations for a human onto a bot or a program.
Yeah.
Right?
Even or a thought program.
it's just it's a tough one, but I could tell you for sure that well, I mean, if this is any assurance that again, when you work this hard on a project and you put this much down, you wouldn't want to risk everything on some stupid little
Yeah, exactly.
legal issue like this, or something. It's like,
Accurate.
hello, like of course
Yeah.
we've thought about this.
Mm.
So yeah.
By the way, that blood rain. That's what we would be allowed to look at now. That would be the virtual model we were allowed to watch.
We were playing that game.
I'm
God.
telling you, look at
don't
the
know why.
Lara Croft one.
Or if
That's-
you,
It's
the hot one.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah, isn't that hot? Look
I
at
was,
that.
I was about to say if you like more mature women.
If you like more mature women,
Yeah,
that's what he went with.
God.
With triangle titties.
There's Lara Croft over here.
Oh, wow.
PS1.
Oh,
year
them
is that from?
polygons, yo.
I really hope that this rule on the models doesn't happen. This rule that we made up today. That I haven't heard anyone else. I don't know. Were people talking about that, saying that the model was only a few months old?
Oh no. I just literally just said that because of how long the process has taken to actually
Yeah,
build.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
We brought that up earlier. That could be a thing they bring up. They could try to start some shit with that. And as ludicrous of an argument as it is, it seems like the one with the most merit. Because like
I don't know how you argue that though.
No, I would love to listen to him argue it. But that's the hill I want to see him die on. I want to see him die on that hill. It's not fair. It's a 2-month-old. Oh dear.
That is the slipperiest of slopes. So many bad things could happen if they try to do anything with that.
Yeah, but that's the problem with that. It's the only one with an actual measuring stick. Otherwise, you get into the possible realm of having this 12,000-year-old, 9-year-old vampire.
I think this issue would be a much bigger if this was ever actually a thing, which I think is never gonna be a thing. But if it was ever a thing, it would be much bigger because you have an entire industry, like other industries affected by this. So like video games and movies and things like that, and then, like they're 3D CG, right? And so if I play, I don't know, like Lara Croft, for example, if the game took 3 years to make, she's 3 years old. So, I mean, I'm talking like to build her model and her character sheet and design her look and everything. And that's just never gonna fly, I think, for any of those industries. Like that's dead on arrival, I think.
Yeah, that's probably why it's an unrealistic metric.
Yeah. I honestly just said it as a joke because I just kind of knew it's just kind of like unrealistic.
You say it as a joke. Someone's gonna make that argument.
Well, you'd never be able to make a game sexual again because the second you made a sexual female character, they'd be like, "Oh no, you gotta take that back. That character's only as old as you just made it." You'd be like, "Take that back."
give me 5 minutes and I'll make that argument.
Like Guardian is saying here, like GTA or whatever, you know, like the strippers in there would be like what 5 years old or something, however long it took them to make that version of GTA.
Yep. In like 2 or 3 years, those strippers are going to be of age.
Yeah.
So they won't have a problem for too much longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, that's another brutal point. I don't want. Again, this is not a world I want to live in. I'm saying that this is an argument I would love to laugh at happening.
Yeah.
I don't want this to happen. I want to see someone argue for it. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad day. What'd you say?
I don't think I said anything actually, but yeah, no, I think Melody is fine. I mean, she has access to. I mean, if it ever became like some kind of nasty issue, I mean, she has access to legal advice and stuff. So it's like, yeah.
I think that you can only really
prepared.
put an age on something that's living, and she isn't a living thing. So I think you should be fine. I can't really see anybody.
No.
Like,
Go
ahead. I was gonna say, at early stages of this project, there was obviously was talked about like, hey, we can't make this character look too young and stuff, and so we deliberately tried to avoid that, because I think anime can look a whole lot younger if you kind of go out there and look at stuff and and see like other models and everything. They can look a whole lot younger.
Anime girls, they kind of have that tendency.
And
so yeah, go ahead.
Right. So that would be a whole lot harder to argue. Like it would. I don't even think that CB would give him permission at that point. Because it's just you're what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're making it worse. I don't know. You're basically catering
making it worse. There you go.
Yeah, you're catering to things that's like it's frowned upon basically, right? So you don't want to cater to that.
You're leaning toward the worst elements. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah. So you don't want to get into that sort of thing. And I mean, it was a pretty easy agreement. So that's why, I mean, she looks the way she does, and she's younger.
Was that anything that Chatterbait asked you about, or I don't know if Again, like that's part of the talk with them, so I don't say anything about that. Could get you in trouble, but
I could say
you guys having the
we didn't even
concern.
bother asking them. We just up front were saying like, no, we can't do anything like that.
Okay.
Because I mean, Melody likes cute things, so she wanted to actually be a bit younger. But we're like, okay, no, because then people will be massively upset. I mean, more upset than now. So
You were heading for the anime genre as opposed to lolly genre.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that would be a good genre to break into. I think that might actually hurt the potential growth of this if it becomes a industry. So, if it was something unrelated to this, then they'd probably be okay. I mean, if it was just a typical whatever, getting on YouTube and playing games or something.
And that was something you were talking about maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Having her on YouTube playing video games and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible.
Would that
it's
probably
just
be
trying to figure
easier
out
than what you're doing now?
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
animations and all that was. Feels like it'd be easier.
Melody is definitely pushing like tech in general super hard compared to a lot of other projects I've worked on. So yeah, it's it would definitely be easier. I mean, talking head videos, like sitting there where just playing a game, you just kind of and it's all mostly pre-rendered. Like you can edit and stuff and do whatever. Yeah, a whole lot easier.
This is probably a kind of weird question, but has it ever crashed?
Has it ever crashed?
Like, is that a thing that is possible that could happen during one of the streams? The Melody thing crashed.
It could, but it's super unlikely. Yeah, it actually no. Some things have crashed. Yeah, her what was it? It's the face has crashed before.
Oh wow. Okay, I bet that was weird.
She had like a stroke.
She had a stroke?
Yeah, that's crashed before, and that's had to been basically rebooted essentially, or lack of another word. But yeah, that'll be restarted at one point. But in terms of like the entire thing crashing, no, never really had that issue yet. So
Okay, I was curious. If just the idea of when it did crash, did the face just fly all over the place or something? And like he said, it like just looked like a stroke, or what was it?
Blank.
No, it'll go blank.
Oh, okay.
There's like the actual AI that actually like sends the data that controls the morph targets and stuff for the face. If it can't recognize anything, it'll actually just go blank and all her stuff stops working. So like she'll just basically blank face.
That sounds horrifying, actually. Like in the middle of a thing, like her face just goes away.
And by the way, like legit, there's a machine dedicated to just that, and it runs like all the cores on that CPU, like 100%. It's like a small space heater.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's like
this room?
open windows.
There you go. Okay. Holy shit!
But yeah, her face tech is pretty cool. And hella expensive. So
it sounds like you have one computer running nothing but her face. So yeah, that's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But all right, the blank face thing. Is that horrific? Have you seen it?
Not so bad. No.
Okay.
I mean, it's just her eyes will kind of like stop moving.
Wait, hold on. She'll still have I imagine just like no eyes, no nose, no mouth, just no face.
She just deadpans.
It's just great. Her eyes actually will still look like they're looking a little bit in a direction because they're using a what is it called? A perspective trick. So if the eye is sunk enough into the socket, this is like an anime style trick, I guess. What is the inside of the eye is actually a pocket, and then there's the iris that actually sits on top of it like a floating disc. So you can actually move it back in perspective. And as the camera goes left to right in front of the face, because it's the perspective, the parallaxing that happens, it will actually make the eye look like it's looking at the camera. So it's looking at you all the time. So when it goes dead, it still doesn't look too bad.
This is a hell of a trick.
You hear all this animation lingo? God damn.
I'm learning animation. I'm learning animation.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's fucking cool.
It was No, go ahead.
No, I was just I wasn't gonna say anything, to be honest. So go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I don't know. It's weird to have this kind of conversation. This is the kind of conversation that I never thought I would ever have, and so I'm enjoying this one. There's I don't know. I will never not have questions about this, but I'm gonna try to cut them off here in a minute and let you go do what you got to do with your day. But I want to. I gotta ask some stuff.
Yeah.
I can't squander the opportunity. It's a I don't know, crazy situation.
Yeah.
As you said that you're talking to a chat. Are there any other? Again, you don't have to say who. I don't want anything get squashed or anything like that. But are there any other companies that are talking to you about it? Maybe possible sponsorships or spots doing something? Anything like that.
Dollar Shave Club.
Dollar Shave Club, yeah. Dyson.
Raid Shadow Legend.
Raid Shadow Legends. There you
go. Savage, whatever, Jerky or whatever they were called.
Get your exclusive champion with Projekt Melody.
Yeah. The thing is like, I mostly, again, like, I have my own Twitter, right? So I get some messages, and there's some people that want to collab. Like, we're talking like, some people that make video games and stuff like that. They want to like put Melody in their game, right? Or something. And there's that sort of thing. In terms of like anything else, most of it is going to the Melody's actual Twitter, and then she just handles most of it. I basically just get the I guess what's the right word for it? What spills over. Like, so basically the people that aren't noticed on her DMs are basically coming to me and like, hey, right? They're like, hey, so we noticed, we're not getting responded to on Melody's Twitter. Can you forward this to her? That sort of thing is usually happening a lot outside of the whole, can you make me virtual? So
that kind of makes sense.
So it doesn't really answer the question, but there are some people coming in wanting to do stuff.
Well, it does. I mean, apparently there are some people trying to get a hold of you to do some stuff. Video games, different kind of things. And I believe it. I believe it. That's like on the screen. We have it where you the Melody account. It has 14K followers. Apparently, it now has over 40K followers, and this is in a matter of a couple of days.
Yeah, actually, I should check. What are they even at now? Well,
there is a big interest at the moment.
It is 40.6 right now.
40.6K.
Yeah, it's grown actually a lot. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, we're talking. What is today now? I lost track of my days.
11th.
Yeah, like on Wednesday or something. I say she basically was at like 700 or something like that followers. So
wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would get like this, or this quickly? Did you think it would get like this quickly?
In some respects, yes. In some respects, no. So because working on VTuber things, when there's a launch of a 3D version of, because usually they'll start as a like a live 2D character because it's cheap, right? It's like you can put like $100 down and get one made. When you get into translating yourself into 3D, the tech costs go up and the modeling costs are insane and stuff and all that. So when that is delivered, usually it's a pretty big jump. And yeah, and usually it kind of gets, it can grow a lot. This, however, is that I think times 10. This is what it seems like, and it seems like it's going to keep going up.
So this is bigger than the usual thing, and
Usual thing, yeah. It's usually a big spike, but this is way bigger.
I was gonna say it could be all chalked up to the fact that it's a cam girl, sure, but I don't know the live interaction aspect of it. There are a lot of guys out there who would just go to a thing to talk to an anime girl.
Yeah.
If they could go to a chat room and the anime girl say something to them, they'll be there every time.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
You'll probably
heard
end
of...
up seeing Alex later.
Alex is going to be in your streams from now on.
That's okay. That's
But,
awesome.
what were we going to say?
I might.
You said have ever what?
Have you guys ever heard of Abby Oddly?
Alex?
No, not actually.
She's like pretty old at this point. Maybe, well, was she like 1 or 2 years old or something? Anyway, she got on.
Oh my God! 1 or 2 years old.
That's old.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, as in like the last that anyone's seen her.
It's just a crazy phrase, man. It's sounding nuts.
Yeah, and she was on CB, but the thing was is that she was this honestly pretty crudely drawn 2D. She called herself anime, and like she was the most. I mean, God, it's like arguing that Fortnite is anime. It's like you can kind of argue it, but it's like you know, it's kind of like this gray area. So anyways, it was
The eyes are
pretty
big. Is that about as far as you went with it? It's like
yeah, kind of.
the
Yeah,
eyes are
like,
big. It's not
Oh,
anime.
a cartoon at that
It was
point.
fucking
like Disney.
trash. Melody's the primo. The
well, I mean,
Cuban.
you could actually call her a cartoon at that point. This Abby person.
He used the word.
Anyway, so they were on there, and it was really crude, and her animations were like predefined. Like she would put her like hands like on her head, and it would be like this 5-frame animation, like really awful. And so they were on there and everything, and yeah, and I just remember they were being interviewed. I guess there were a couple of them that were doing this. It was like a teddy bear or something that was pretty crude too. That was part of their little group, and the crazy thing about it was is that they acted like no one else could do this sort of thing. They were like, because I think at one point they were being interviewed by someone doing a stream, and they asked them, "Well, do you see other people trying to do this?" And the guy was like, "Oh, well, they can try." And
You were
all of
like,
us
"Fuck
like that
you."
are behind the Melody project, we're just like, "Are you serious? Like, do you know there's way more advanced technology than what you're doing that can do this stuff like hands over fist, basically?" And I just want to like take a step back and just be like, it's totally possible other people can do this sort of thing. They just need to find the right people and stuff, and have a little bit of money and stuff, and put the building blocks together. So I just found that like highly ignorant. Because when that guy had said that stream on the date that he said that, Kizuna was already a thing. So I was just like, you just can't live in your little sheltered world. You have to like actually go out there on the internet and see what's out there. Anyway, but Melody is definitely like a lot more true to what people think when they think of this whole sort of idea that she's.
That's the other thing in your head. If you, I don't know, if you're it's I don't know. This is not something for me, but I'm thinking if I in my head I'm like, okay, I want to watch a anime cam girl. This is pretty much what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If you go and you see what you're talking about with the weird 5-frame anime, that would be
janky.
That's a little janky, yeah. It's
A little
jarring. Someone did ask another question.
It could ruin your stroke.
Do you think you'll get more and more people interested in this? And 20K people simultaneous last day. Congratulations on the achievement. I think it's obvious more people are going to get interested because it went from 14K followers to 40K followers today. I'm pretty sure by tomorrow it'll be at like 44 or something like that. It's just going to keep going.
There's two ways to look at that question. One is from a follower perspective of do they enjoy the content, and the other is do people actually want to get into 3D and like learn how to do this stuff? And I actually really hope that people want to learn 3D and a lot of this other stuff like coding stuff and whatever game design, real time technologies, those things like that. We need more of those people like to be interested in this sort of thing, because right now I'll tell you, like, because I went to an art school like years back and stuff, and it still is like this, so that's why it's relevant. But a lot of the instructors and professors really take a shit and look down on any type of anime. So these students never even develop a decent skill for it, and then they come out and then they get a job in a biased industry into Western styles, and then it's hard to find anyone. So if people have interest in this and they start doing it, and basically schools like actually are like, hey, wait a minute, there's money here, like there's an industry for stuff, then it's a lot easier to find talent. So that's the way I look at it, basically.
I can agree with that.
I mean, I may have called Melody, like offhandedly called her lolly earlier in the stream, but I absolutely called you an entrepreneur. There was this niche industry that had not been severely gotten into, and you were the first one to take the risk to get into it. So I don't see this as doing anything but growing.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. And again, the other company related stuff, we hope to impact the world even more. So I'm hoping that we can start changing the views, I guess, of these different schools that are churning out kids. I mean, it is a style. A lot of these techniques and like tools can be translated to that style, but if the students are no one is developing the style, then like in working on it and improving it,
actively discouraged,
right? Then there's just it's just hard. It's just an uphill battle. And honestly, working with people out of Japan, while I love all my Japanese clients and stuff, it's really hard. And they're very different. A lot of times you can't even talk to a Japanese company without having a middleman that will represent you, because they won't even talk to you because you're Western.
That's what I was gonna. You have to speak the language, and a lot of things, not just speak the language. They want someone native. So.
Yep, exactly. It's really crazy, and it makes it hard to work with them, honestly. And while they're very talented, good worth ethics, sorry, and smart people, but they just have this culture wall that they put up, and it makes it hard to do business, basically.
I believe it. I've heard many a tale about that. I don't know. Is everybody that you're working with so far on? Have you ran into any roadblocks with the Projekt Melody thing yet?
God, let me think for a second. Any roadblocks? Have we?
Like, has pretty much everybody you dealt with been cool or anything like that?
Part of it, I don't think we ran into any serious roadblocks. I think the biggest roadblock was just getting me to sit down and actually start designing and stuff like that, and building. I think a new challenge will be trying to get other people on, and also like working with people, because you have to grow, right? And you can't necessarily just hire full-time people, because people are expensive. So you have to kind of commission for the short period of time till you get big enough to actually have, all the stuff that a company has, like people sitting at desks and stuff, and to do that is tough, especially when your IP is digital, because it is so easy for your stuff to just be leaked, and then suddenly you have major issues, and you can't get it back because it's the internet. I mean, I've learned that lesson years and years ago. So you can't just go and be like, well, I'm going to sue you now for all of our damages and losses and stuff. And it's like that person probably doesn't have enough money to even cover that. So it's better if it just doesn't get leaked in the first place. So that's kind of, I think, the new challenge, as well as find more talented people to help build the project bigger and more projects.
See, that's very well put together. Almost everything that you just said up there.
Yeah.
All of that makes all the sense in the world. There's also a question that makes very little of the sense in the world, but it's a question that he asks everybody who comes through. Kairu wants to know if you think that NATO is relevant in a post-Soviet era.
NATO is relevant in a post-Soviet. Oh, I don't know. I try to stay. I try to stay out of politics as much as possible, and all that stuff and everything. Like
There you
go. I do have opinions about things, but yeah.
He asked that of literally every single person that
he asks everyone that question for some reason. I don't get it.
That's his question.
That's
No
what I say.
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo.
It's all right.
One more question though. Last one.
Sure. Okay.
Who do you think wins in a fight? King Kong or Godzilla?
King Kong or Godzilla?
Yeah, who wins in a fight?
I don't know. I mean, what's the strongest thing about Godzilla? His breath, right? So if King Kong comes by and he can get close enough, he just strangles him. Like, he can't really do much, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he just got his little Rex arms or whatever.
King Kong is supposed to be 30 feet tall. Godzilla is about 300 feet tall.
Oh, if you put it in that perspective, then yeah, I would say it's a bit tough. I mean, because what are you gonna?
Yeah, they're not close to the same size where he can just run up on him and start throttling.
Yeah.
Something.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Strangle and cut off the circulation to one of his legs?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna put his leg to sleep.
That's like the world's strongest man trying to strangle like a
Mountain.
a 30-inch drainage pipe or something like that. It's like it's kind of tough.
Here's Leader.
So I guess Godzilla then. Yeah.
Hold on, Leader, who's always we're friendly to Leader here at the show. We're all friendly with Leader. He's a good boy out there. He said, "Yo, question: why are all the girl streamers from Chatterbait hating on Projekt Melody? You motherfucker! We have talked about that for the past 45 minutes.
Isn't that
That's what we talked about?
Long story short, they hate him because they hate him.
They hate him because they hate him. Sure, but that's what we've been talking about this whole time, Leader. It's I don't know. It's what am I supposed to do with these people? He comes in, he asks the thing that we've been talking about the whole time. We asked one question about Godzilla, and I was like, oh, okay, what was it?
You'll have to go back later. Watch the stream.
Yeah, Leader, you're ruining my life out here.
I mean, this guy was here for like an hour answering everyone's questions.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, actually, I should
for
probably
that.
run. So
Probably.
He should, look, we appreciate the hell out of each
Yeah.
other. But that was it was impromptu, and it was a pretty cool talk. I
was-
learned a lot
yeah.
about things.
super random. I was just kind of going out there, just kind of see what's going on and stuff, and what people are saying, and took a couple minutes to do that. And I was like, oh wait, something going on here. What's this? So
Who
Yeah,
was
it's
with
very
this?
cool of you.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you too, man.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, you be
Alright.
safe.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Okay.
Okay, he was pretty alright. Just gonna say that guy
If I
was
can
pretty
get out of
alright.
here, actually.
Wait,
Hold on,
is he
let
locked
me get
in?
out of here.
Here, I can fix
No, no.
that. Hold
Hold
on.
on,
think
we
I'm
can't
stuck in
talk shit about him until he leaves. Get him out of here.
Alright, I'm gonna hit the disconnect so you don't have to worry
God, is
about
that
fumbling with
disgusting guy
buttons.
gone yet?
Right.
Ugh.
Okay, I took care of it for him so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Damn it. See, that's the other thing. It's hard to think anything else, but he's a pleasant lad. He seems
Good Christian boy doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, of course you think that.
Mhm.